Hi, my name is Gianna Sharino, and I am a current 12th grader at Ridley High School, and I applied to Thomas Jefferson for the fall of 2026 with the intention of majoring in pre-med. And I attended the Life Sciences workshop on November 2nd, and we received the question of how did members of your working group consider science as different from other answer generating practices? Be mindful to consider the limitations of the scientific method and the role of ethics in scientific practice. So here is the answer that we came up with. Science is considered different from other answer generating practices because of the way it approaches questions about the world. In order for scientific claims and questions to be proven, they must be testable and replicable, meaning that there should be clear steps that other researchers could follow to get the same or highly similar results. Scientific claims must also be falsifiable because this is what gives knowledge derived from science its strength, emphasizing the importance of trial and error in the scientific method. Unlike answer-generating practices such as religion or philosophy that rely on tradition and personal belief, science depends on actual observable evidence that can support a hypothesis. Many people look to answer-generating practices for hope and answers to questions in their life that are more abstract, that can give them stability and a feeling of knowing more than they actually do, since they are more based on logic and are not actually being tested or proven. Scientific claims can be made up by anyone. However, not all of them can actually be considered science due to the importance of following the scientific method and making sure that your results are showing clear evidence and showing clear steps that can be replicated. However, it's also important to recognize that science has real limits that often cannot be stretched further. The scientific method can only investigate questions that produce measurable or observable evidence, since science must be testable and replicable, for the third time now. Someone may have an unsolved question about the world, but it cannot be tested directly due to limits in supplies, human constraint, or moral value issues. Because science is conducted by people, ethics plays a crucial role in any experiment that a scientist conducts. Scientists must consider not only what they want to find out, but whether or not they can even pursue finding an answer to what they want. Scientific research is not allowed to harm people physically or emotionally, harm animals if it does not benefit people, and they need to ensure that they are being honest to the subjects in their experiment about what is occurring, which can cause human bias to influence results of studies, since people may try to act in a way that they expect they should. These ethical guidelines pose a large limitation in science since people cannot just research any way they want, and it may be daunting to researchers that have a question but have to find an alternative way to studying it to not go against ethical guidelines. Some researchers may have a question or want to look further into a certain subject or area, but they can't do that due to the limitations, and they don't want to put the time, the energy, the money into finding alternative ways to figuring it out if it's not such a pressing issue at that period in time. Lastly, scientific conclusions are never final, and they are always evolving when new data or better technology becomes available for researchers to utilize. Answer-generating practices, on the other hand, are usually set in stone through tradition and strict beliefs that are not open to further discovery and change, which remarks a noticeable difference between science and other answer-generating practices. Thank you for listening. Have a good night.